Welcome to 101, the mini podcast project. I'm your host, Anthony Cruz, and today is June 20th, 2017. Hey, I'm back again. I'm just knocking these one after another. Like I said, I'm playing catch up, and you're in for the ride. So, here we are, and we're time to get into the topic of E3 2017. Holy shit. It's been a year since the last one. And I talked about it on the corner. But now I'm back on the mini podcast project to talk about this shit here. And, just like last year, they showed a shit ton of new games. And a bunch of stuff that we knew was coming, but we're finally getting a glimpse of. And it was cool. One thing I love about today, which is, and not just today, June 20th. I'm talking about just today's times. We get to all be a part of E3 where we couldn't do that before. It was a very exclusive thing that you had to go to. You had to get a ticket and go. And then, just experience it live. Now, because of streaming services, this shit is covered everywhere. I'm talking about on IGN, on Twitch, on, just anywhere you wanted to go, you can catch the fucking E3 event. From coverage of what's happening on the show floor to the press conferences from the big companies. You just get it all. So I spent, 4 or 5 days just watching the press conferences, checking out all the back stuff, and it was great, man. I mean, Microsoft put out the press conference, Sony, Nintendo did their treehouse thing again for the second year in a row. I think it's second year in a row. I think they've been doing this for 2 years now. And then they did, who is it? EA did their press conference, but Bethesda, so they're people doing their press conferences, and yeah, just a lot of shit coming out, man. I mean, they showed some really good exclusives. We're talking about who is it? Ubisoft, I think it was coming out with a game. It's either Ubisoft or EA. It's one of them. But they're coming out with a game called A Way Out. And this game is cool because it's a cooperative only game. And you either play a split screen at home or on the internet with somebody. But there's no way to play by yourself. Because the game requires you to work together with somebody. And the cool thing about it is that your stories won't always intersect. You know what I'm saying? You'll be on one side of the room doing things and he's on the other side. And your perspectives are different, he could be, your partner could be in the middle of a cutscene while you're still actively doing something. Sick stuff, man. Very innovative, man. The technology has allowed the artists to do things creatively that is just amazing. Amazing. They showcased a new IP from Crytek called The Hunted or something like that. Amazing, man. It's the same people who done the Crisis stuff, and it's pretty phenomenal. They showed Battlefront 2. They showed God of War. All of it just looks amazing. E3 really showed, because with the problem. Okay, so here's the problem with past E3s. They will come out with all these technologies, new consoles, new devices and gadgets to try to bring people into a more interactive experience. Was it last year? It was very VR driven. Years before that was motion sensing. All kinds of stuff like that. Peripherals. Yeah, is that right? Not peripherals like the side of your eye, the stuff they use. All right, you know what the fuck I mean. Well, they basically create all these devices that you can use to enhance your gaming experience. And this year, surprisingly, there was none of that. The only new thing on display was the new Xbox Scorpio, or the official title being the Scorpio, the Xbox One X. So, and this thing is a beast. So all the new games that were shown on the new console. So, and that console's gonna come out, I think, in November. So, yeah, I mean, but that was it. As far as like devices, that was it. Everything else was, it was all about games, and that's the part I appreciated. If I had to say that this is probably one of the best E3s in a long time, that's because it was. I mean, it was all about the games. If you're a gamer, that's what you want to see, And they showed Call of Duty World War II, and there was this new IP from the people of BioWare. Damn thing looked amazing. Like, it's amazing that the stuff they can do with games and how big they can make them. Crazy. Cuphead is finally gonna come out. It was this think of it's a one of those indie games, and it's a 2D side-scrolling shooter beat 'em up kind of thing. And to describe the graphics for this game, you would have to look at the old, Silver Age cartoons, like the Mickey Mouse Steamboat type stuff. And that's the design style. And everything is animated, not beautifully, gorgeously. Like, I mean, I don't know how well it's going to play, but seeing how it looks, just phenomenal. Look, they're dropping, what was it, Dragon Ball, what was it? They're dropping a Dragon Ball Z by the people who made Guilty Gear, which Guilty Gear was a 2D animated fighting game. This game, even though it's using the 3D graphics, is set up 2D style. So anybody who's played the Dragon Ball Z Kai, or what was it, the Xenoverse games, how it's like 3D and you can go around a 3D environment. This doesn't play out like that. This is really highly animated, and it looks phenomenal. I have to say that this year's E3 was pretty awesome. They showed some really cool things. So I'm invested. I'll just chip away my quarters, save up my quarters, save up my dimes and my nickels, and then I come with a giant sack of change and drop that son of a bitch on GameStop's counter just to pick up a new Xbox. and all these awesome new games. Really, it's just really, really phenomenal, man. I really wish I was in that field. I always felt I should have been in that field doing concept art. That was my thing. Like, being a graphic designer, I didn't want to do graphic design. That wasn't my passion. My passion was to illustrate. And somehow I got straight off the beaten path. Like, I took a turn into things that didn't matter. We live in an age where nobody does a freaking website anymore, right? You can go online and do, grab a template. They have every template you could possibly conceive on these websites. You can do it. So why would you ask me to do a website? So more often than not, I say no. I don't do websites. I'll do a logo, sure. I'll do a brochure. I'll do something animated, no problem. But yeah, no, websites I leave that out, man. Or if you I would mess with it if you if you went to something like Wix or something like that, where you do where you build a template, but you may know how to put stuff together, but you may not know how to do it in a way that looks like it's professionally done. I've done that. I've upgraded a website, for people to make their website look better, but it's through Wix. I don't want to deal with coding. Hey, that is not my bag, man. Not my bag at all. With video games, I may be more inclined because it's more creative based. It's more of a user experience where I can relate to, you know, especially when it comes down to like creating characters and seeing them animated and moving in the environment, and then you getting to control them and create your own stories that way. So I'll be more inclined to learn coding that way, but no, my passion has always been illustration, you know, drawing, and somehow I got distracted with that. Somehow I got off the beaten path, but I'm working back towards that. You know, I want to draw and do podcasts. That's it. that's the dream right there, man. Let me draw and do podcasts. I think it's a phenomenal thing, man. Yeah. So I'm watching E3 and I'm seeing all these games come out and how creative they are, and I'm like, damn, man, I wish I could just break into that field, break into that world. And I got a plan. It's just have to finish executing that plan. I'm playing the long game here, and it's not quite working out the way I hope. So, but the whole thing about it is that you got to keep going with it, no matter what. Just keep pushing that, because man, you got to find your happiness somewhere, right? So, yeah, E3, man, 2017. Also, I don't know how the hell did I get from talking about E3 2017 to talking about finances, but yeah, where we go. So, yeah, no, things have been tough, man. Things have been tough for me lately, like, you know, finance-wise, just trying to stay afloat. Things happen, like, you know, you had those days where, you know, fucking your car breaks down and you got to get it fixed because that's your mean of transportation to work. You know, stuff like that, and it sets you back, you know. So, yeah, no, it's been a hard year, man. As you notice, I haven't done the corner in forever, you know, and I don't know if it will ever get back on track with that. I can't make any promises with that. The only thing I can promise is that I'll keep doing the one-to-one, and even that I had to take a break for a while just to kind of get refocused and clear my head and figure out what I'm going to do next. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? You know, when I chose to do this, it was when I chose to do the mini podcast project. It was because, you know, I was looking for something like an out, like a vent. It wasn't for you as much as it was for me. Like, this is some therapeutic shit. You know, you get to talk about what's on your mind, whatever's bothering you, whatever makes you happy, whatever, you get to share it. You know, and you know, and either no one listens to it or everyone listens to it, and nothing's off the table. You know, like, I can talk about anything here. It's my safe space. And yeah, no, things have been difficult, man, financially, and I traded some problems for other problems, you know, and when that happens, you kind of get a little lost. You kind of try to find your direction, you know, and yeah, I mean that's all I can say about that. Wow, I never thought I would run out of shit to say, but I actually did, you know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what do you say to that? How do you approach someone who's going through things and tell them everything's gonna be okay when you don't know? You know, I mean, there's just so much shit going on personally and in the world, like, you just don't know. And the only thing you have is to be like, really, you just stay positive, man. Just stay positive as best you can, because shit, it's a fucking shit show, man. What was it, that Rocky movie? Was it Rocky Balboa? They boast this shit on Facebook so many times, I'm sick of watching it, but it's so damn true. It's like, yo, life will beat you until you can't get up. You know what I'm saying? It will beat you down, and you know, and it will continue to beat you down. But you know, it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. how hard you take a punch and get up and keep moving forward. I mean, that's how winning's done. Shit, that shit is true, man. But, you can't help but letting things affect you and getting the best of you. Like, doing a podcast should be easy. It should be the easiest fucking thing in the world. There's no work involved in doing a podcast. Anyone, and I mean absolutely anyone, can get behind a microphone, whether it be on their phone or at a setup where I have with mic arms and spit guards and all kinds of technology. You should be able to get there and just say whatever's on your mind. And even that, could be hard to do sometimes. Part of the reason why the corner hasn't been done for quite some time. And I'm just trying to stay connected by doing one-on-one. And, hopefully, we get the shit together. And we do what we need to do. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's what's going on. Like, how do you keep on top of your finances? So that, because one of the things you got to remember is that, if you're alright with your finances, a lot of things fall into place. You know what I'm saying? If you know that, you're going to have a roof over your head, or if you know that you're going to be able to put food on your table, put clothes on your back, and do that for yourself and for your family if you have one, then everything else could be worked out. Because, you got to know where to live. You got to be right in your own home before you're right with the rest of the world. And then what happens is that, making money is no different than taking drugs. Right? And I say this because they're both addictive in their own right. You make cash to pay for the things you need and the things you want. And when you don't have that, then you start to do something where it effectively takes you to a place where you shouldn't go. And that's you robbing Peter to pay Paul. You ever heard that phrase? Where you take money from where it's supposed to go one place and bring it to another. And then next thing you know, you owe that. And so you rob from something else, and then you pay the thing that you just robbed from. You're your own Ponzi scheme, basically. Because you're shortchanging other things to compensate for other things. And that catches up with you. And, no matter how much you think you are on top of things, it slips away from you slowly before it starts to slip away from you a lot. It's a gradual thing. It's that snowball effect. You roll down a little snowball and it just gathers up more snow, and it gets really big, and next thing you know, you're in trouble. So yeah, I was going through that. And when something like that happens, you pump the brakes and you say, wait a minute, this is getting out of control now. What do you got to do now? Now you're going to start. Now, before where you thought about making sacrifices, now you have to make sacrifices. And you give up things that you want. You give up things that you felt that made life a little easier. And, that holds true. That held true to me. I'm going through that now. And I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to get to where I need to be. But you know what? Hey, man, it's life. I pray that all of you are alright. Whoever listens in, I hope they're okay. I look at other people and I wonder, I'm just fascinated because they make it seem so easy. Their lives seem so simple. And it's true that you don't know their lives. You don't know what they're going through because they don't share it. They're normal human beings. They keep their dirt to themselves. But you just can't help but think that they got it on track and you don't. And that messes with your head, man. It messes with your head big time. So that has been my 2017. It's been a snowball effect since December. And I'm clawing my way out, but it's slow. I thought it was going to be quick. It's not quick, But I tell you one thing: once I claw myself out, I'm gonna be so much fucking smarter. I'm much more smarter now than I was in December, and I'm gonna be way more smarter once I claw out of it because I'm gonna know exactly what not to do. You know, but I'm a Cruz, and us Cruz folks, we learn slow. So that's my burden to bear. But I pray that all of you, whoever listens in, is not, hopefully is doing a little bit better. I pray. But yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to share. I wanted to talk about E3, but I really didn't have much shit for that. It was a great show. That's all you fucking need to know. Matter of fact, you can go online and watch it yourself and find out. But I also wanted to talk about finances and stuff like that and get that off my chest a little bit. Remember, I said this is not so much a podcast as it is a confessional. It's like an audio diary I get to leave each week, or 3 times in a day for that matter. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So I just say thank you for joining me. I've been Anthony Cruz on the One-on-One Mini Podcast Project. Thank you for showing up. Please follow me on Instagram and Titter. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tone and Stereo. Visit my Facebook page, Art Graphics Inc. And visit my website, artgraphicsinc.com. Like, subscribe, do all that. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Peace.